Hey guys, what is up? Is Reaper Jinkai here, and I am back with a top 20 video for you guys today. This was recommended by somebody in the comments on the streaming video that I haven't taken down yet, and probably won't because I'm lazy. But anyways, this is my top 20 favorite Pokemon. Now I need to explain a few things before we start. First of all, the reason why I got this done so quickly from where it was recommended is I used a website that will show you every Pokemon that exists, not all at once, but it will show them in groups, and then you click on the ones that you like and you run through it. And we'll go through every single last Pokemon, and it will start as you continuously pick the same one over and over and over again over other ones. It will be like, this is one of your favorite Pokemon. So what I did was I had 20 Pokemon picked out. I was going to go until I got to 20, but I went to 22. And the reason why I went to 22 is the other thing we're talking about, is there are 2 entries on this list that Pokemon's lower form and highest form are going to be talked about together. I did not want to give them their own spots as just the lower evolution, but at the same time I did not want to exclude them because obviously I enjoy the lower forms very much for the same reason. Next thing we're going to talk about is, obviously this is a video on my opinions. I know that opinions aren't taken well on the internet most times, but just remember, if your favorite Pokemon is not on the list, it does not mean that I don't like the Pokemon. It's just that I like these Pokemon better. Furthermore, you are always welcome to leave your favorite Pokemon down in the comments, and I will be sure to read them and leave a comment if I have something worthwhile to say other than like cool or something like that. And lastly, as always, none of the art in this video is mine. You can find these images pretty easily on Google. I just typed in the Pokemon's name. Please, if you see an artwork that you are like, that is amazing art, go find the creators through Google and give them a shout out. I wish I had the time to link them all, but I don't. I'm sorry. So moving on, let's start this list off with number 20, Metagross. Now I know what a bunch of people are thinking. How dare he put Metagross at the bottom of the list? Now do not get me wrong, I truly love Metagross as a Pokemon. It is such a great mon. But first of all, I haven't really used one much. It's super hard to get. Even in the game it was released, you could not get one until post-game, I think, which is stupid. Why have small rant, I hate, it really kills a Pokemon for me when I can't use it in the playthrough. I don't even care if it's for one gym. Put it in the playthrough. I want to use the mon. Back to Metagross though. Amazing design. Its shiny is a little bit better. I wish I had found a shiny picture, but I was trying to rush through this because I have family here and I'm being very rude. But, and I have plans later. But, Metagross, move pool great, Mega Evolution great, stats are great, of course, it's a pseudo-legendary. Design is great. Just a great Pokemon overall, but not great enough to make it higher on my list, unfortunately. Moving on, we have number 19, Mamoswine. I do not know what it is about Mamoswine, but I freaking love this Pokemon. Its stats, I love. Its typing, I love. It is probably, gotta think about the rest of the list, it is probably my favorite Ice-type Pokemon, period. And it has my favorite typing in it, Ground-type. For those of you who do not know, my favorite typing is Ground, so there's a few Ground-type Pokemon on this list. And I don't know why Mamoswine's not higher. It's just pretty much with that list that it gave me, I would look at him, I'd think about the two Pokemon for a minute, and I'd pick one to put over the other. And that's how I went through the whole list. It took much longer than it probably should have, but meh. So, Mamoswine, typing's great, stats are great, design is amazing. I love the idea of a mammoth Pokemon. I don't know why I like it so much. But moving on, let's go to number 18. Number 18 is Scizor. Badass design. You'll notice that that's kind of the reoccurring theme. The reason why Scizor is so low is as I have been trying to get more into competitive Pokemon, I know Scizor is very viable. It's just that 4 times weakness makes me hesitate to touch it. I love its design. Its move pool is pretty good. Its Mega Evolution is great. Like, overall, it's a great Pokemon, but it's so low because of its 4 times weakness. I know that's a stupid reason to put a Pokemon on your top 20 favorite Pokemon low, but my list, not yours. But overall, I really do love Scizor as a Pokemon. It's just meh. The typing is what kills it for me. But moving on, Houndoom. Houndoom, I love. 17. Yes, he's number 17 on the list. Which is, spoiler alert, but I believe these are the only 2 second-gen Mons that are on this list. But anyways, I don't know. I just really, really like Houndoom. I can't explain it. I'm looking at it, trying to give you more, but I can't. So we're just going to move on to number 16. Klinklang. Again, now this one I can explain. I do a bunch of random battles on Pokemon Showdown, and when I get a Klinklang, it at least gets 3 or 4 kills. This thing, it's amazing. I love the Pokemon. It's a good typing. I believe it gets Levitate. Gear Shift plus Gear Grind just sweeps. Done. Good Pokemon, good in random battles. If I ever get in a league, I really want to draft one. Just to see what I can do with it. So, moving on, let's go to number 15. Goleospod. Badass design. Good move pool. Offensive and bulky. Well, defensively. What's there not to ask him for? It is the most badass bug-type Pokemon, hands down, in my opinion. I thought of Scizor and Volcarona for a moment to think which, if I would argue either one of those is more badass, and I don't. Goleospod is the most badass bug-type Pokemon, and that is why he is on my list at number 15. Number 14, Hydreigon. Again, don't know why he's so low. He just could not make my top 10. I really tried to get him in there too. Like, I really love Hydreigon, but everything above him I just like more. He seems just better, I think. Or he doesn't seem as good as those other things. Design, typing, besides 4 times weakness to fairy. Ability, I don't know. He's just a good mon. I don't know what you want. That's gonna be like a bunch of the early entries. I'm sorry. 13, Salamence. Have I ever... Fun fact, I don't think I've ever used the Salamence in a playthrough. He's here solely on design and stats. I'm disappointed in myself. And it's my list. Okay, enough. That is true, though. Like, I'm not joking. I've never used one, so I don't have the personal experience of using a Salamence. So we're just gonna move on. Haxorus. Never used one, but look at this thing and tell me it's not badass. Shiny Haxorus as well. Tell me this is not a badass. And you can leave my channel. I'm joking. You're free to your own opinions, but I fully do love this Pokemon. I've used it a few times. I was actually really disappointed that this was not the pseudo-legendary of 5th gen. I was incredibly upset that 5th gen did not make this the pseudo-legendary, and I think somebody's going to come down for me soon, so I'm going to start speeding up. Next, Kingdra. Kingdra. 4th gen, amazing Pokemon. No, 2nd gen, amazing Pokemon. Sorry. I lied. 3 2nd gen Pokemon. Amazing Pokemon. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. I don't mean to, but I will definitely slow down for the top 5. No, this is number 10. Honchkrow, number 10. Honchkrow, 2nd gen, or no, 4th gen. Very good Pokemon. Love the Pokemon. It's amazing. God, okay, sorry. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to give more information. It's a good defogger. It hits hard. It can be bulky. Its typing is pretty good. And I love its design. There we go. Now we will move on. Blastoise. Only starter on this list because I forgot my one rule that I wasn't going to use Blastoise or starters for this because I was going to do a starter video later. Whatever. So, first starter I ever had. Well, first starter I played through the full game with. Loved him. Mega's amazing. Design, it is a tortoise with cannons on its back. That is badass. Powerful, great design. Not too complicated on typing, just pure water. So, it's just a Pokemon I thoroughly enjoy. And have for years. Moving on, we have number 8. Now, fun fact for you guys. Umbreon, back when 2nd gen first came out, was my favorite Pokemon. First gen, it was Pikachu. I regret it. 2nd gen, it was Umbreon. And Umbreon held that spot until 4th gen. Where, just in case you haven't seen my channel, my new favorite Pokemon, that is still my favorite Pokemon to this day, is there. I love the dark typing idea in 2nd gen, and Umbreon was the first dark type Pokemon I experienced. I loved its design. I loved the red eyes. I loved the nighttime aspect. It was just a great mon for me. So moving on, we're going to go to number 7. Aegislash. Aegislash is on here because Aegislash is a monster. This thing can be one of the most defensive mons in the game and one of the most offensive mons at the same time. Plus, it has a unique shielding move that lowers your enemy's attack. Like, a special attacker is needed to deal with this thing. Pretty much. And it also has to be a bulky enough special attacker that you're not going to get one shot by this thing, because this thing hurts. Its design is amazing. I've been sparring and LARPing since I was like 6 or younger. So having a sword and shield Pokemon was something I could physically relate to because it's something I did as a kid for fun. So when I saw it, it brought back the nostalgia of being outside sparring with my elder brother. So I had to get this Pokemon. Love the Pokemon. Don't really like the stone evolution, but that's like my only nitpick. So we're going to move on to number 6. Yes. Number 6 is Rampardos. Rampardos is hands down my favorite fossil Pokemon whatsoever. The Pokemon's attack stat is sky high. Its speed stat is I think it's pretty good. I know it's not the best speed, but it is a good sweeper. Rock type is a pretty defensive type as well and can be pretty offensive. It's just a great Pokemon. I love it. Best fossil in my opinion. Plus I really like Velociraptors and that's what it's based off of. So, well, Velociraptor / T-Rex, but you get it. So we're just going to move on to number 5. Crobat. I lied again. That's a 2nd gen Pokemon too, isn't it? Well, shit. There's more 2nd gen Pokemon on this list than I thought. Crobat I love because Crobat was needed. Golbat was good, but Crobat is so much better. Its design is amazing. As a kid, I loved vampires. And whenever I see Crobat, I think of a vampire, so maybe there's a connection there. On a playthrough I did recently, I was doing a Wonderlock. I actually got a level 1 Zubat with Brave Bird, Giga Drain. It's got Poison Fang now, but it didn't have that before. It's just got a bunch of strong moves, and now it's all the way up to a Crobat, and it's a freaking destroyer of lives. I love the thing. I recently got one in Pokemon Go, and it defended a gym for 20 hours, so that was a really hell yeah thing for me too. Like, the Pokemon recently has shown up more and more, and the more I use it, the more I realize I really, really like this Pokemon, and it deserves this number 5 spot. Moving on, we're going to number 4. Rhyperior. And the funny thing is with this list, I'm pretty sure there's like 4 or 5 Pokemon I used in my first Platinum playthrough on this list, including Rhyperior. Now, Rhyperior, funny story, I found the Protector, and I found a Rhydon. Well, it's not a funny story, but it's how I got it. In Victory Road. And I caught it, and I was sitting at the bowling alley or something, and this kid walked up, and he wanted a Magmortar. And I wanted a Rhyperior. So he told me how to evolve Rhydon. So I got the item, and we traded there at the bowling alley, and we trusted each other to trade back. I'm super happy he did. And I used the thing, and I loved it. It was super defensive. It hit like a truck. Rock Wrecker was an amazing move. And I think it was actually the thing that helped me beat Cynthia's Garchomp. So, there you go. Moving on to number 3. Oh, wrong way. Goodra and Goomy. Now, this is the first of 2 that have the 2 Pokemon, obviously. Goodra I love because I love it that there is a special defensive pseudo. Goodra was a great Pokemon. As in 6th gen when it came out, I got one on my team, evolved it all the way to a Goodra, and I had a blast with the Pokemon the whole time. I loved how especially offensive it could be while being a tank as well. I like that it's a pure dragon. It's not too complicated with its typing or Onyx. To be honest, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be half water. Gumi, on the other hand, I love because of its just goofiness and cuteness. Like, look at Gumi, the one flying through the air, and tell me you don't get a smile on your face. That little shit's adorable. So, I'm not going to say too much about these two, because this is getting to be a long video, and let's move on to Staraptor. Staraptor is hands down my favorite flying type Pokemon game, period. Done. Staraptor. Reckless Staraptor punches holes through everything. I ruined the chance for one of my best friends to get back into Pokemon because he was getting super excited, and I showed him Pokemon Showdown, and he wanted to build a team and play up against mine. I got a reckless choice-banded Staraptor. He grabbed like 6 pseudo dragons or something. I forget exactly what he had. I think he had like 2 Dragonites, a Salamence, a Hydreigon, a Goodra, something else. And I literally one-shot them all with this Staraptor. And he said, I'm done. Never playing the game again. Because he thought it was dumb that a bird could kill his dragon. I think I died to recoil. But everything I hit, I one-shot. And he was infuriated. But, bah humbug. Great Pokemon. I love that it gets close combat. Love it gets Brave Bird by level up. It's just a great Pokemon. It gets a great moveset. And it hits like a truck. Moving on to the number 1 spot. If you've been with the channel for a while, this is no surprise. Gible and Garchomp. I wish I could have found a little bit better picture, just because it looks a little bit derpy with the Gibbles. But there was all the other pictures had Gabite in there as well, and for whatever reason, Gabite I'm kind of meh about. I like the Pokemon, but I don't like it as much as any of the others on the list. Now these two, everything else could go burn. If I had to choose between a Gible or literally any other Pokemon that comes out ever to have in real life, Gible would win 100% of the time. Same for Garchomp. I would love to have one of the two. We'll start with Garchomp, because that was actually, out of these two, the first one I got. Back in 4th gen in Victory Road, you could catch Gabite. I caught Gabite thinking it looked pretty cool. Evolved it in like 4 or 5 levels. And like saw it and screamed at my DS because I fell in love with the Pokemon instantly. It has been my favorite Pokemon to this day. Since the day... Since like the day after Pearl came out. Oh, I said Platinum. I'm sorry. It was Pearl. I got Pokemon Pearl, and I stayed up all night the first night. I had school the next day. I stayed up the whole night playing the game. I got it early in the morning, played it for like 18 hours. I played through the game non-stop. And at like 5 a.m. the next morning, I got Garchomp. And I woke up my parents, and I got whooped. Not really. I did get in a lot of trouble, though, because I was up at 5 a.m. still playing the game. And they saw my save time, and they weren't too happy with me. But as soon as I got Garchomp, I knew that was my favorite Pokemon. It was such a great Pokemon. It still is to the day. I love its stats. Currently, I run Rough Skin, Jolly, Max Speed, Attack, and the last few EVs and HP with Crunch, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Iron Head with either a Choice Band or an Expert Belt. Because his moveset can hit anything and destroy it. I originally did a Dragon Fang to increase the Dragon Claws type move and make up for the little bit of damage I was missing from, or some of the damage I was missing from Outrage. To answer why I don't use Outrage is because I don't like, one, not controlling what I do, especially with Fairy type now. And two, I don't like being confused after a move forces me to use it 2-3 times in a row. Like, in a double battle, you can't control what you hit. You get confused afterwards. And I don't know, I just never thought I realize the damage is crazy and it's a really good move. But I never thought that the downfalls were worth it. Then we'll move on to Gible, because after I got my Garchomp on my first playthrough, I realized there was a slot missing, and Gible was there. And I, for the first time I think I ever looked something up about Pokemon online, I looked up where to get Gible, went back, got Gible, and like, I don't know what to say about Gible. It's cute, it's adorable, it's derpy. Like, I have drove my friends insane because I've seen Gible randomly on the internet. And I just get stupidly happy. Like, Gible and Garchomp just make my day. I love the Pokemon. They are such great mons. And I could talk about them for hours, but we're not going to do that. We are going to wrap up the video here. To who asked me to create this video, I know you said I should do an honorable mentions, but honestly, I had a really hard time selecting 20, let alone coming up with more for honorable mentions. So, no honorable mentions, unfortunately, but these are my top 20 favorite Pokemon. And again, if yours did not show up on the list, no offense to that Pokemon, it's just I like these better personally. Feel free to leave your top 20 favorite Pokemon in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.